Excellent. So Liz, just introduce yourselves to us.
So I'm Liz McWilliamson. I was Liz Mack when we lived in Kilmarnock. I also get called Boo Boo. Anybody that comes to Kilmarnock, I still meet them to this day and they'll say, all right, Boo. So it's a wee kind of a nickname that I had. Everybody had nicknames then. And this is my mum, this is Margaret.
Hello, both of you. So now, Margaret, you grew up somewhere else. You didn't grow up where did you grow up?
I grew up in Pollokshaws.
Southsider.
My family came to Shawlands. I went to Holyrood School.
Did you?
Um,
So what brought your family to this side of the river?
my husband. He
So
came to the Gorbals. Married him. We started a family. Came over here.
And you came to whereabouts to where exactly did you come to?
The first house I got was Aikenhead Road in Govan Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to there to Toecross,
The prefabs.
the prefabs, Braidfall Gardens. It was all doctors and nurses that lived. It was a beautiful area. Then when they pulled it down, I finished up in Briston. I've been there for 47 years.
So did it feel like a big move to go over the river?
No, really.
Not really.
Because my family were still over there. My nieces, my nephews, all them were still over on that other side.
Okay, so what differences did you notice then, if any, when you moved up to the north, as it were?
No, really.
Not really.
You get a new house, you thought you were a toff. So this is what happens, isn't it?
And what was your man working at the time?
He was in the foundries. In there.
Which ones? Whereabouts?
Merlin Colson's at Brighton Cross. Well, it was Kilmarnock Road. Kilmarnock Road then.
So proper heavy industry.
That was I.
Yeah. What was his job?
Just in the trouble of everybody else. I never ever bothered asking. As long as I was getting the money, I was thinking very well.
Labouring type.
Aye, he was a labourer. Aye.
And so was there kind of social life involved with the plant as with the factory as well? Is that how you met people, or was there different communities that, I don't know how you met people?
Just
Through the church maybe?
Everybody knew everybody.
Everybody knew
I
everybody.
went to early the farmer. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody helped everybody. Yeah, it was a good community. But I love my house now. But I preferred Kilmarnock if I could take the same house, put it back in Kilmarnock.
And what?
But the neighbours are all dead now, so.
Yeah. What did you like? So tell me why you say that. That's really interesting. What are you missing now that you could have had if you were in?
I'm really not missing anything. I've got a good family and that, so, and I worked in a nursery for 40 odd years.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Lovely. So your daughter, you remember all this. What do you remember of family life when you were little?
I remember it being happy. Big families, everybody had big families, so all my friends, they had like 5 and 6 kids in the family. Plenty of friends, plenty of activities. Great neighbours, great community spirit, great help, everybody help one another.
Helped everybody.
I think that's probably what you're missing for Kilmarnock,
Aye.
I think that's...
You can
different.
go and,
Yeah.
as you say, it's an old saying, everybody says your door's open for everybody. Everybody helped everybody.
We helped each other, yeah. It's a great community.
There wasn't any drugs or drinking, as bad as it is now, you know, but that's life. A lot of them comes from good families, so it's the way they go. I've been lucky that way. So.
What I was going to say was in Kilmarnock there was great clubs at night. So we would go to we went to Lady Fatima, but the Springfield school, so it's always got to be kind of a soft spot for the Springfield school, because we went there for the clubs. So every night of the week there was something on. It was like arts and crafts. We used to get a bus a certain night, would come up to John Street swimming. They would bring you up. All sorts of activities. It was fantastic. So there was always something to do. Plenty of pals, and we were thrown out to play.
And when we had no coal, we used to go up to Springfield Road to Dykes and take our prams and they'd give us all the logs for our fire, things like that. You see, you get up the road, bring me a bag of our prams. We took the prams down to the steamy, because nobody had washing machines. It was all cold and things like that.
We were talking about the prams the day. The prams get used for everything. So it was like a kind of a silver crossy type open pram. So the babies used to get in them.
Just to get lifting it to go and get the prams washed.
Yep.
Things like that.
Anything that was like a mini flitting. So one time my mum said somebody was getting her a wardrobe. And she said, I'll go in the pram. So we all had an end date. She was pushing, we all had an end date. We were all hiding in case anybody seen us with this wardrobe on a pram.
They used to say, we're not going, I said, I used to go and I need a wardrobe.
That was the kind of things that people done, yeah.
Things like that.
And then we would take the prams again, you would take people's kids out, we would go to their door and we'd drip straight and say, can we take your way in it?
That was my pram.
Aye. And we'd say, right, and they'd take them in round the block, blah, blah, blah. And the next, if they said no to that, the next question was, can we take your dog out? So aye or no, we'd take the dog out, blah, blah, blah. And if they two questions got a no, it was like, have you any ginger bottles?
That was
so,
it.
And people would get and get the ginger bottles. So
they
that was
ginger bottles.
That was a common thing. A common
and then
thing.
we had Mario's the fish. And you used to go along to him and he used to give you a tick. Do you know what I'm talking about? Used to give you a tick. You get the fish pygmy. He'll say, Margaret, who does this money belong to? This? You and me. You pay it and then you ask for 7 fish suppers or 7 sausage suppers, things like that.
Yeah.
He's just recently
Just
died.
recently died, Mario. You'll hear a lot of people speaking about him. He's a very great character in Kilmarnock. He had the chip shops.
Aye.
So you were talking about the connections with people. That's where the connections were. In the shops, because they were bustling then. The streets were mobbed. People coming and going for work, kids going to school, there was always something happening.
That's it.
Great.
It was good.
Just life, a lot of life about the place. A lot of life.
And that really stopped when the factory started to close. Is that right?
It wasn't so much the factories, it was when they started taking the buildings down.
They started demolishing a lot of the old buildings.
The tenements.
Yeah, and then Kilmarnock was allowed to deteriorate, unfortunately.
That is deteriorate.
That's a whole other story, but it was allowed to really deteriorate.
Why do you think that was?
To make way for the Commonwealth Games.
Oh, right.
That started for
the building.
So relatively recently, in fact, because I mean, the games were in 2014. That's say 10 years ago, and they knew they were getting them. I don't know, half a dozen years before that.
Long before that land was earmarked, definitely. So you could see the decline in the place we'd left by that time, but you could see the decline. So unfortunately, a lot of good people moved. They just didn't want to stay there.
And I mean, it's a very interesting and obviously very controversial period. We can now see 10 years on what's happened. Do you think anything good has come out of that now? No.
Well, I don't live there now, but
I don't live
there's a lot of nice homes, new homes.
But
the communities, that's been ripped apart. I don't live the same. But if you ask people that live there, I'm hoping that they have a community spirit now. But it'd be completely different from what we had. It was a shame. It's quite sad to see.
We were up the closes.
And then the close was a whole different scenario for the back and front door, because you lived on top of each other. And in our close, there was,
Dolly.
I think there was 7 next us. And I think
kids.
next door was 8, I think. 8. And there was 3 up the stairs. So that was in one close.
And they all used to, Dolly used to say, it's all your crowd in. And I used to say, how? Because I want to do the close. They come out and do the close.
And you were chased.
And you didn't dare go in when Molly done the close.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And Dolly had a phone. Dolly stayed up the top flat, so she was really popular.
She was.
So that would be the only person that we probably knew with a phone.
Mack, they were never allowed up the stair.
We were never allowed up the stairs.
Never allowed up with Dolly.
No.
She was a lovely person, don't get me wrong. But she said, keep them away from the stairs. I've just done them, I said.
Yeah. And that was the place to use the phone for any emergencies.
Aye, she
we would go up and
that.
ask her. We got sent up to ask her to use the phone. Apart from that, the only other phone was in a dairy at the end of near the Clyde in Woodrup Street, and it was two Pakistani guys, Indian, that had it, and they were called Dean. Two of them. There was Big Dean and there was Wee Dean, and that was the local. So that was the local hub as well. You seen a lot happening there. They had a phone, and when you were waiting, it was a payphone, and when you were waiting in the queue, you heard everybody's business. You heard everything that went on that phone. Everything that was going on. Business. Everybody knew everything because you would hear it in the phone.
Did anybody have cars?
Yeah, next close to us. I remember.
Royals? No.
Not next to them. I can't remember the name. I don't know.
We had two nuns up that close.
Aye.
With Mrs. Hartley. They used to call her Hartley Jam. That was a
Hartley
shame.
Jam, yeah. Yeah.
And she had the most beautifulest windies and the beautifulest washing out. And she used to shout to me, Margaret, keep them away from my washing because we'd all go in through the backs.
That's right. So the nice cars and that was unusual.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
The Neelys.
The Neelys.
There was one man in particular, I remember, it was a red car, I think. Always out cleaning his car. And I've spoke to his brother in recent years, he said, that's right.
But not many cars
Not
at
many,
that time.
no. So you could play in the street.
Yeah.
We could play kick the can. That was a favourite. We'd play the ropes and the elastics. The women used to play the ropes as well. They used to come out and sit with the wains. And they would jump in.
And they would all hang out the windows with the pillars, hang out the windows and watch the kids do things like that.
Yeah, but we all kind of watched each other. But it was quite, I remember it being quite sexist then. It was like, no matter what age the boys were, they were told to watch you. Even if they were younger. My mum would say, you watch them, you watch them, you watch them. It was the boys were in charge.
And the girls played with the girls and the boys played with the boys?
No,
they all played together.
We all played together.
The boys were in charge.
We all played together, but the boys, if we went anywhere, if we went away for the day,
disappeared. Oh, it would be terrible.
We used to go up to Richmond Park, so that the boys would be in charge of watching, no matter what age they were. Yeah. She would say, watch them, remember?
I'm getting the very slightest feeling, Liz, that you didn't think that was right.
Probably not. And then we were popular as well because my mum worked in the ginger factory. She worked in Connells. A lot of the women did 3 and 4 jobs. They all worked really hard.
All about night
cleaning
shifts.
Jobs, split shifts. They worked really hard.
And then I went and got my job in the nursery.
Aye.
I was there for nearly 4 years.
So we always had a pint of ginger. We always had a pint of Connells ginger. So we'd go out for the day and there would be bottles of ginger under all the prams.
And when you collected the bottles and took them back and got your pennies or whatever
Well,
it was.
Connells we never took back because they came out the factory.
Oh, right, no, okay. But
was,
from the
it
shops,
was
so
the
what
ginger bottles, aye.
And then what did you spend the money on?
Sweets.
Go on then. What was your favourite?
Ice creams. I wish my cousin Michelle was here because she would remember the name of the ice lollies we used to buy out of Dean's. And it was a Pink Panther type thing, ice lolly. We could get 5 of them a day.
Again, what about school? Where did you go to school?
So I first started off in Sacred Heart, just across the road here. And then we got moved. There was a new school get built, and the Springfield Primary get built.
Right.
So they moved into the new one, and we moved into the old one. My dad was never happy about that one. So we went there. So we moved to Sacred Heart till Lady Fatima.
Okay, good. So the other question I'm asking everybody is, did you have any kind of relationship with the river? Did you go down to the river to play? Did you?
We swam in it.
Tell me more.
We swam under Demarnock Bridge, and we were well warned not to get near it, but we did swim in it.
And you were warned. Why were you warned?
Because it was dangerous. People drowned in it.
Allow it.
There's undercurrents, and you could get pulled under, so it's pretty dangerous. So we played just under the bridge, and we would climb the rafters. We'd climb through the rafters of the bridge and go into the water there. And Riverside School, along for that, we used to play there in the water as well. Just kind of no get too far. But a pastime I was remembering this week when I was trying to think about Demarnock was over the bridge at Demarnock. At the other side, there was a transport cafe at the side. So we used to get in the transport cafe. It was usually takeaway ginger and things like that. But next to it, there was what had been garages before for cars. They were all very close to each other. So they were, I think, 12 feet high. I don't know how high they were, but pretty high at that age. And 1 or 2 would be derelict, so they would be knocked down. So a pastime of ours was to jump the garages, for one garage and the top of it, to jump but because there was a few missing, there was a big gap between. So that was a pastime nearly every other night. The boys were brilliant. They would just take a run and just jump, no problem. So that was my fun.
Crikey.
That was my fun. It was great. It was
Fantastic.
great. Yep.
Fantastic.
And we hadn't any money or anything. And
No, we
still
never had any money,
enjoyed
but we were all
ourselves.
happy.
Just move
We're
that
all
a bit,
happy.
bit closer. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
So you were saying you didn't have any money.
No.
But they still enjoyed themselves. We didn't need to go and get phones and everything from the way they are
No.
now.
No.
They were out and enjoyed a piece of jam and sent out to play, and that was it.
That's interesting. All right. Well, look, I think that's great.